vanished in the storm. The mysterious appearance of Cynthia-Bah-TRAORE. It was February 2021, and Texas was blanketed under a rare and brutal winter storm. I remember that storm so well. Our own city, Mesquite, Texas, was without power. Power lines had failed, roads iced over, millions was plunged into darkness and cold for over a week. The city of Mesquite, I know, was out without power. It was the kind of storm that kept people huddled inside, seeking warmth and safety wherever they could find it. Quite a few people lost their lives due to the brutal cold. So when 39-year-old Cynthia-Bah-TRAORE vanished during the height of that chaos, her family knew something was terribly wrong. The whole state was covered in snow. People couldn't even drive, let alone survive outside for long. I remember that. That's the month of my birthday. I remember that storm so very well. So who walks out into a storm to start a new life? Her sister Tiffany asked. It just doesn't make sense. Cynthia, she's a loving mother of two. She was a substitute teacher living in Crawley, Texas, when she was last seen on February 3rd, 2021. At the time, she was going through a divorce and had moved into her own place. Her youngest son had been staying with his father in nearby Fort Worth, while her eldest son, then 17, he lived with her in Crawley, Texas. Tiffany still remembers the last time Cynthia, her sister, reached out with a simple message sent a week before her disappearance. It said, she had messaged me and I just hadn't gotten around to calling her or texting her back, Tiffany said softly. Then a week later, she was gone. It wasn't until February 5th that the family even realized Cynthia was missing. A cousin called saying his son, who was a friend of Cynthia's eldest son, mentioned that she hadn't been home since Wednesday. Panic began to set in. I remember waking up and thinking it was all a nightmare, Tiffany said. But every time I opened my eyes, it was still true. My sister was still missing. So the family reached out to Cynthia's estranged husband for any leads. He told them Cynthia was in the hospital. For a brief moment, they were relieved, until a nurse told them she wasn't there. That delay cost us valuable time, Tiffany said. That's when we knew we had to act. So on February the 6th, which is my birthday, I remember it. I remember this winter. Cynthia's mother, Tamara Alvarez, filed a missing person report with the Crawley Police Department. Investigators soon uncovered that Cynthia was last seen around 10:30 p.m. on February 3rd at a Shell gas station on East Crowler Street in Grandview, about 40 miles from her home. Surveillance footage showed Cynthia wandering the store before leaving and driving away in her dark blue Mazda. Witnesses described her behavior as odd. That was the last confirmed sighting of her. In the days that followed, a horrific winter storm swept across Texas. Roads became impassable, temperatures dropped below freezing, and Cynthia was nowhere to be found. It wasn't until February 16th, nearly 2 weeks after she vanished, that her car was discovered. A state trooper spotted the blue Mazda abandoned on I-35 near mile marker 355 in Waco, Texas, about an hour drive south of where she was last seen. There was no signs of Cynthia, no footprints in the snow, no blood, no broken windows. The doors were locked. Her family was stunned. Cynthia didn't know anyone in Waco. And in the middle of a deadly storm, why would she drive more than 60 miles from home and abandon her car on the side of the interstate? You expect me to believe my daughter just got out of the car in a blizzard and just walked off into the night, her mother asked. Nobody would do that. Police searched the surrounding rural areas with drones and search dogs. They combed her home. They examined the car, but nothing turned up. Cynthia's family has long believed that her struggle with mental health may have impacted her state of mind that night. In 2016, when she began experiencing symptoms related to trauma. But her sister loved her children. She would never just left them. Something happened. Lieutenant Michael Tate of the Crowley Police Department insisted otherwise. "We followed every lead," he said. "The problem is the leads have gone cold." But the family isn't giving up. They formed the Find Cynthia Coalition, a group of attorneys and social justice advocates dedicated to keeping Cynthia's case in the spotlight. They've even reached out to the FBI, who is now involved in the investigation, and offered a $50,000 reward for information that could bring answers. Cynthia's mother clings to hope. "I know God is going to bring my daughter home," Tamara said. "Everyone deserves to be found." Cynthia is described as 5 feet 6 inches tall. She weighs around 160 pounds at the time of her disappearance. She was last seen wearing long sleeve shirt, black pants, gray and white sneakers. If you have any information, you're urged to contact the Crowley Police Department at 817-297-2276 or the FBI at 817-980320. Please remember to subscribe, like, and share, but most of all, please pray for the safety, the welfare, and the whereabouts